So the question that I'm often asked is, how will I know that my teenager is not just experiencing that adolescent developmental stage versus being stressed or having anxiety or even an anxiety disorder? How can I, as a parent, a caregiver, a teacher, or an adult in their life, be able to distinguish between the two? Now, a lot of teenagers, for instance, might have sleep patterns that we don't necessarily agree with. So is that stress, or is that just them being a teenager? Are they overeating or undereating foods? Is that them going through adolescence? Or is that part of some kind of anxiety? So a lot of teenagers are irritable. We don't know if that's just a cranky teenager, or is that possibly a sign of some bigger concerns with stress and anxiety. So there's 8 things that we kind of talk about, that necessarily having just one of them won't necessarily point us in the direction of stress and or anxiety. But when you can, out of a list of 8, have 6 or 7 of them, then we might be looking at something different and need to go get some additional professional help. So the first one of those is anger. How many people know some angry teenagers? And that anger sometimes appears in what we call chandeliering. So they might go completely bonkers over something that is so small. And typically in the past, they might not even be able to just let that roll off their back. Now, in this particular situation, that one thing ignites a fire. So anger turning into chandeliering would be absolutely something you would want to consider in terms of looking at the whole picture. Difficulty sleeping. Some teens can go to sleep with no problem. Some will wake up through the night, then can't go back to sleep. Some can't fall asleep till very late at night. I have lots and lots of teens that are needing sleep aids to help them get to sleep. We've tried all the non-traditional things, lava lamps, essential oils, those kinds of things. This next one is just kind of funny to me. Defiance. Okay, so we talk about just adolescents and their relationships with parents. You see a lot of defiance, that rebellious stage. I say go left, you go right. I say don't wear that, you come downstairs wearing that very outfit. And so that kind of defiance, and maybe there has been some of that, but when stress and anxiety come on the scene, maybe it's amplified even more, a lot more defiant than they had been. I mentioned the chandeliering, okay, and then there's the lack of focus. As an educator, we see lots of complaints of lack of focus. A lot of times we're thinking attention deficit, or is there something else going on? Sometimes just being stressed out makes it very hard for you to focus and do your best work. Avoidance. Things maybe that they used to like to do that they don't want to do anymore. A big one that parents would identify is a kid that comes home from school and goes straight upstairs to their room. And then you don't see them. They might peek out, get something to eat, something to drink, and then they're back in their room. And nowadays, a lot of kids have everything they need other than the kitchen sink in their room. And so it's very easy for them to stay in their room for long periods of time. Sometimes they don't want to see their parents, so they can extend that stay in there till they hear the parents' bedroom shut. They notice all the lights have gone out. And then they'll come out, they'll try to get something to eat, those kinds of things. But they don't want to be around people they don't want to be around, especially when something's going wrong with them. They feel like if a parent catches them, looks them eye to eye, a parent will automatically know that something's not right with their child. And a lot of times they're right. So the next one that I will mention is negativity. Again, it just makes me giggle. What teenager is not negative? I don't want to go to grandma's house. Oh my God, this ride is so long. Are we there yet? Blah, blah, blah. And so you get just this constant negative attitude about everything. They're not able to adjust and see the other side of things. So when that becomes very typical for an adolescent, if somebody has stress and anxiety, you'll see even more of that. A lot of gloom and doom, more hopelessness. And it's almost as if they have, I would call a cassette tape because I'm older, but a CD in their head that just keeps playing those same negative messages. So then every time that young person opens their mouth, out comes that negative message. So we want to be aware of that. And then this is a tricky one as well. The last one is over planning, where they feel very anxious. And sometimes you see this a lot in kids that are perfectionists or feel the need to always operate in excellence. So they never say no. They agree to be on every committee, every group, every organization, and they're going from sun up to sundown. And I've literally seen kids be at school at 6 a.m. and they're not home till 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening. And they're just constantly trying to stay busy. And so as a parent, I would look at that and I'm like, man, where is that driving force, that motivation coming from, that they just feel the need to go, go, go? And when I get with those children and I ask them, okay, what on your plate could you remove? They absolutely have no idea how they could not do all the things that they are doing. So that could be problematic. So again, the skill is, are you going to be able to determine whether or not it's just typical adolescent development, or is this something more than that in terms of stress and anxiety? So I'll cover that list again. Anger, difficulty sleeping, defiance, chandeliering, lack of focus, avoidance, negativity, and over planning. So if you have someone who looks like it's more than just normal adolescent development, then you might want to seek professional help.